everything, the baseline. So I think what I see in a lot of young people is an anxiety around that. They may not even know it themselves.
But it's implicit in their body.
Yeah, well, because there's no, I guess the sort of the barefaced thing of Trump, right? And the puppetry of Trudeau, so you've got this Trump guy who's just obviously a puppet of the oil industry, and he's just
seems like industry in general.
He's not holding back. He's not pretending that he wants to govern in any way. He really wants to hand over the whole thing to industry, right? So one of the things we're seeing right around the world is kind of really an end of democracy in a way. We're seeing it in Canada too, because Trudeau he's really not he's one side of his mouth is like, oh yeah, we're going to repair the reserves, and we're going to find all the missing people and all the missing women and all that kind of stuff. But really, nothing's been done.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of liberal talk, but nothing happens, and it affects the kids. It affects the level of anxiety that I see in people where it's dysfunctional, where they can't really focus, right? Because of insignificance. Like, why do that? But also, right there in the palm of your hand is all the information you almost ever need in your life is right there.
Yeah.
That's really different from my perspective.
Yeah.
Growing up, where you want to learn something, you went to the library.
Yeah.
You had to go to the library to find the books, right? Yeah. And now you don't have to do that anymore, right? So everyone's learning has changed, but the way people are taught hasn't.
Yeah. I wonder, too, about how much is if everything's in the palm of your hand, so to speak, it's like, why go out in the world and get your hands dirty and find out for yourself? What are you like? I have some conversations with some people who would say, someone describes themselves as a calm person. And it's like, well, what if you're in the middle of a frozen lake? Are you calm then? It's very, so much of how you think you are is completely based on the fact that you're in a warm house with clean clothes and food and everything around.
Yeah. Well, Canadians were very lucky that way.
Yeah.
Most of us have that. Right?
Yeah. It's really crazy.
Even the poorest amongst us have that in many ways. Not everybody, but it doesn't take much to live like a king in this world, in our society, Canada. If you can cover the rent, you have a little job, you're almost guaranteed to be able to pay food and stuff like that. Unless, of course, you want to have a family. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other subject. But I do see a lot of kids who are maybe feeling insignificant in a way, but I also see a lot of kids who are working really hard, they're in school, but they're also doing 15, 20 hours a week of work.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm dealing with them over at the school or at Dow or St. Mary's, or it's an amazing number of people that have a pretty busy part-time job.
I know a girl back in New Brunswick who's studying psychology in Fredericton right now. She works a full-time job, and runs this health fitness supplement shop,
right?
And is a full-time student at the same time.
Yep.
And is also going for runs and yoga practice and stuff. And it's insane the load people have to carry nowadays.
Yeah. And some people are really up for it. And like you were saying earlier, yoga really helps. Have that energy, for you to focus your energy and gather your steam to do all of a multiplicity of things, right?
I think that's where a sense of insignificance can kind of wane if you start to. Well, it's hard. I don't know what the answer is really, but I found with myself, the more responsibility I try and take on, it seems like the more I'm able to get up in the morning and get after the things I need to do.
Yeah.
And then one of the thoughts that's popped in my head recently is I've been starting to believe more and more that any given individual is more powerful than an oppressive state or something, or the culture as a whole. Like, if enough of us were to, it doesn't even have to be everybody, but if enough of us like willingly take on the burden that is required of us, whatever it is, and live forthrightly with that, then I feel like that's the only chance that we'd have of navigating through all these myriad of problems that the culture and the world at large is facing today.
Yep. No, I mean, that has been the answer, is that and that's, I mean, they talk about what happens in third world countries. I don't know if you saw that. I sent a little meme around on Facebook about the confessions of a corporate terrorist. I don't know if you ever saw this little cartoon.
I didn't see it.
And it's pretty striking. It's about 90 seconds long. And he totally sums up all the stuff that happens. But one of the things, and I've heard this talked about a lot, is in a country where they don't have the opportunities, where eventually the populace is just forced to take action.
Yeah.
That the corporate beings in league with the police and all that kind of stuff are searching out the leaders, right? And they're going to take the leaders out, right? So that there's never a really strong person, because that's how humans, it's how most mammals even kind of come together. There's a success of often a male, right? But it can be a woman too, obviously. But there's like somebody who is able to focus everybody's
someone who has a clear vision of what we all need to be doing.
No matter what the situation might be, because we can only do so much as humans, but try to live sustainably and to be in a community where you're, someone needs their sidewalk shoveled, and you go do that, or you cook somebody a meal, or just like really small little things that do seem insignificant but can mean the world to somebody.
Well, that's one thing I've been finding too, even because we do snow removal in the wintertime. I mean, it's been slow, but the last storm we had, it kind of popped up in the forecast last minute, and we're like, we're getting a bunch of snow, and so I sent out the message to this like thread on Facebook of all the people that are willing to come out from time to time with us, and I had 8 people message me almost immediately saying, we're 100% good to go, like 4:30 in the morning, pick us up. And then those 8 people, I didn't hear anything from them the entire day we needed them. Just like texting, calling, knocking on their door, nothing. Absolutely. I was so upset. And it's, someone might think that something like that is insignificant. Like, whatever. Who am I? I'm just little old me. Who cares if I shovel for a few hours or whatever? But meanwhile, there's a whole army of people that are out there trying to move all the snow, and then you seriously personally affected all those people's days by not getting out of bed or whatever. It's like, you aren't so insignificant. It's like, you really matter. We really need you out here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like, you are needed, and I really try to get that across to the, when I'm working with my students about how important it is to be present. Like to show up, just to be there, and then when you get there, to continue your being present, right? Because
it's like an act, like you have to do it.
The cell phones are just like they're taking over so many social situations that used to be about listening, and so that the situation itself is undermined by 8 individuals, let's say, 8 individuals who have 8 different messages that they're dealing with on their phones that are going to lead to some other social thing.
Yeah, they're going to go scrolling on something else.
Whatever, but that they're not in the moment ever. Right? Which is why you might see 8 people telling you, yes, I'll be there to help you.
And then might have even remembered that there's a...
because are you the boss of a crew, or are you just trying to get a crew together, basically?
Basically, I have to rally a crew every time it snows. Yeah.
Nix does the same thing. You guys really need to talk.
Nick...
Scott Nix.
Oh, Scott Nix.
He does the same thing.
Yeah.
He does landscaping in the summer for this company, and then in the winter he's doing snow removal.
Yeah, that's a classic move.
It's a pretty classic way for people to make money in this part of the world, right? Except when it doesn't snow.
Yeah, it's unreal. And it's brutal when it's cold and isn't snowing, because when we're trying to roof in the cold weather, like the shingles won't cut, the compressor freezes, just like everything goes wrong.
Yeah, you'd think, oh, today's going to be a great day, but even if it's 5 below zero, things like that. It's sunny out, so it's still kind of warm in the sun, but no, gear will stop working. Right?
Yeah, and then the shingles too won't stick right because the tire needs heat in order to adhere. So then you'll do a roof. There's a roof down. Is that Chinese food restaurant on Roby that's near the gas station? Right. Yeah, those guys were doing that roof in December, right around when we were doing the conservatory.
Yeah.
And then it just took one of those windstorms. The whole roof is gone. Whole thing, man. It just the tire didn't have a chance to stick down, so it just went sailing.
Can you imagine?
Oh, those poor guys. Like,
I hope insurance so expensive, right?
Yeah. You're just praying for insurance to cover it at that point. But
at some point,
it's definitely, if anyone's thinking about getting a new roof, do it in the spring and summer. But hopefully the spring.
Yeah, I like roofing in the fall, like roofing in the spring or fall seems to make more sense to me because
and spring is ideal because you have the whole summer for that to really stick down.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's been how long have you been doing the roofing thing?
It's coming up on a year now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you've taken on responsibility within that company to call a roofing crew and call a shoveling crew, or like they entrust you with that kind of a thing?
I'm basically second in command on the roof now.
Yeah, right.
And then snow removal, I have my own crew. And just when I went traveling, before I went traveling, I was really I just was really dismayed. I was one of those, jaded young men who just hated society, hated the fact that I had to work for money, and hated the whole thing. Right. And so I didn't know whether I was just going to, off myself or go just travel with, nothing. Yep. And so that seemed like a better idea. Yeah. So I did that. And then when I was on the road and I was just the only one I had out there, so I was alone, and then I was just taking any work opportunity that showed up as it came, answering GG ads and all that, working my way from town to town. And I really learned the value of just showing up and working harder than anyone else that's around, to the degree that I can do that. Yeah. And it's it turns out it's rare, and it turns out people love it. It turns out people will pay you more money if you do it. Yeah. And so I came back with this new attitude towards work where I'm just going to show up and do my best every day, and I've been getting raises and more responsibilities and promotions on the regular. And I remember I used to think I was stuck at this bottom level tier job. Yeah. And it just isn't the case. I wasn't trying my hardest. I was really not putting in everything I had. And I was also criticizing the world I was in without giving everything I had to it. So I really had no business doing that.
But that's a real learning experience. I definitely went through that myself. Lots of my peers did. Where you're just you're playing in a band, you're doing a thing, and then suddenly, the whole, that falls apart. You're like, what am I doing? Yeah. And then, I don't want to have a job, blah, 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 but you can't survive without one. And then, you just sort of, eventually you sort of come around to, for me, what it was getting that job, right? And getting, several jobs in a row. But really my sights were I want to, get grants, and I want to get some contracts that are, going to pay me to write music. And so I was able to weasel my way into that world. Yeah. And so I was lucky in that respect. So I was able to leave the 9-to-5 world. And still not making a whole pile of cash, but enough to support myself and help out my family and stuff. So that's but there was a time when I was just I didn't want to work. I didn't understand. I was mad at society. A lot of people get that way. They get really, you found a way to get through it. When I was in Toronto, I heard this so many times. I'd be working away and never late, always on time. Always communicate. If I wasn't showing up, Everyone knew why I wasn't there. I was on my way, blah, blah, blah. And everywhere I went, I would get keys. People would be like giving me keys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when someone gives you the keys to where you're working, you're like, wait a minute.
They trust you.
I'm trusted. And